Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. So, who have all joined? Akbar, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Nagendra, good evening.
Good evening.
Chetan Gowda, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Girja Madam, good evening. Shubhu, good evening. Okay, so people are yet
Good
to
evening.
join. Narendra, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah,
Good evening.
good evening. Okay, so let people log in. Let us wait for 2 minutes. Yeah. So good evening, everyone. Today we are on 20th session. Today we look at the voucher type master and its behavior in TallyPrime. So before we get into today's topics, are there any clarifications, any questions with respect to reorder level status that we discussed yesterday? Okay, I hope there are no questions. Good, not an issue. Okay, so let us continue with today's session. So today's topic, as you all know, it is voucher type masters and its behavior in TallyPrime. So what is voucher type master and how it helps in configuring our accounting books or our tally, how it will simplify tally is what we will look at. Okay. So purpose of this training to ensure all participants learn TallyPrime and understands the business processes and implements tally in your business or in your organization to ensure that there is an efficiency increase and a lot of duplicate work needs to be avoided, to be eliminated. So that's the purpose of this training. So let us get into voucher types. I think this screen, I remember we had discussed this, I think in the second or third session of our training. Okay, this slide had come and at that time I had told, okay, we will well into this in detail when we take up the voucher type as the topic of discussion. How many of you remember? Do you all remember that we had discussed on this voucher types? Okay, and we had marked it in different colors. Okay, specifying it gets overlapped in different modules basically. Yeah. Okay. So in standard default tally, okay, so these are the voucher types that we have. So the vouchers are classified into accounting vouchers, inventory vouchers, and payroll vouchers. And there are some of the vouchers which gets overlap between accounting and inventory. Okay. And of course the payroll also, when you're making a payment entry in for payroll, okay, that also gets overlapped. So whatever the vouchers that you are seeing, which is shaded in blue, example, debit note, credit notes, okay, then purchase, sales, payments, these are all the vouchers which gets overlapped. Say example, debit note, credit note, you use both in inventory as well as in accounting. Purchase, you use both in inventory and accounting. Sales, you use both inventory and accounting. Okay. So these are all the standard voucher types that you have in Tally. So when you create a company, these are the standard voucher types which will be default available for. Okay, and each of these voucher types has a shortcut menu, shortcut key that you could use. Okay, so what are voucher types basically? Voucher types are typically a template, a pre-populated template that's available to ease your creation of vouchers, creation or alteration of vouchers. To ensure that the simplicity is maintained and a lot of common elements are captured in that voucher type. So it's like a template. Say like example, you make one template in your Excel for invoicing. How many people do invoicing on Excel and you have a template of your invoice?
We have.
Yeah. So similar to that, okay, there is a template that's available in Tally for vouchers so that it becomes easier for you to update the transactions. Okay. So some of the things that you need to be clear is we can create any number of voucher types. So there is no restriction. Okay, say like example under payment, I can say cash payment as one voucher type, SBI bank payment as one voucher type, HDFC bank payment as one voucher type. Similarly, receipts, I could have cash receipts as one voucher type, bank receipts as a different voucher type. Okay, when I come to sales, I could say sales Malleshwaram as one voucher type, sales Jayanagar as one voucher type, or sales Bangalore as one voucher type, sales Mysore as one different voucher type. Okay, so when I come to purchase, I could either have based on the location, or I could say I have two different voucher types, one for the local purchase, one for the interstate purchase, and one for my imports. So based on the business requirement, you can create any number of voucher types. There is no restriction in creating and using the voucher types. And one more thing that you need to be aware is any voucher type that you create that needs to be linked to any of the existing voucher types only. You cannot have a new type of voucher type, new voucher type, which doesn't fall under any of these things. Whenever you create any voucher type, it has to be linked to any of the default voucher types that is available. Okay, so that is one thing that you need to keep in mind. Okay, now what let us do is, let us parallelly take Tally and look at Tally and say how the configurations in the voucher type can be done and how it affects our data entry. Okay, so first let us take from this thing itself. We can create any number of voucher types, right? So how do we create voucher types in Tally? So let us log into Tally. Okay, and let us open one company. Okay, which becomes easier for us to operate. Check. Okay, so like example, let me just take GST training company itself. Okay, so this is the company. Now, if I want to create a voucher type, I need to go to create and click on voucher type. So which voucher type I am creating? So example, I'll just say payments SBI. So for SBI, I need to have a separate voucher series numbering. So I'm just saying payments SBI, and it comes under which voucher type. So I need to link this. I cannot have a primary and I cannot have my own voucher types. It has to be linked to any of the existing voucher types only. So that is what we are discussing in this presentation. Okay, which says all new voucher types that needs to be linked to any of the existing voucher types. Okay, for you to create. So you need to link it to any of the existing voucher type. Okay, and save, control A is for save. Similarly, I could say payments HDFC under payments. Okay, then I could say example, I'm just saying purchase local as one voucher type, which comes under purchases. Okay, then I'll say purchase interstate as one voucher type, comes under purchases. Okay, I could say purchase imports as one more voucher type under purchases. So similarly, I could create receipts, I could create journal, whatever voucher type I want, I could go on creating. Okay, and if I want to look at which are all the voucher types that's available for me, I could just go to chart of accounts and click on voucher types. So now it is showing all the default voucher types, and Whatever voucher types I have created over here, it's available. Say example is payments HDFC, payment SBI, payment imports, interstate, local, sorry, purchase, import, interstate, local. All these voucher types are available apart from the default voucher type that's inherited in tag. Now, when you create a voucher type, how it affects? Say example, now we have created payments and purchases, additional voucher types for payment and purchase. Now, when I go to voucher, I'm in default payment voucher. If I click on payment on the right hand side, F5, now you could see which voucher template you want to use. So the additional templates that we had created, payments, HDFC, payment, SBI, is also available for me to select and continue with my voucher entry. Okay, hope this is clear. Then example, if I say purchase, now apart from default purchases, there are 3 more purchase vouchers that's available. Local purchase, interstate purchase, imports. Similarly, okay, for sales also I could have my voucher types defined. Okay, say example, I can just go to voucher types and example, I'll say sales BLR as one voucher type because I'm creating in Bangalore. Then I'll say sales CHN as a separate voucher type under sales. Okay, then I'll say sales Mumbai as one more voucher type. So similarly, I could go on creating any number of voucher types. Now, when I go to the voucher and click on sales, now it is asking sale under which location you are doing the sale. Bangalore, Chennai or Mumbai. So you could select any of the relevant voucher type and continue your transaction. Okay, hope this is clear. How to create a voucher type and how to link the voucher type to the existing voucher type. Okay. Now let us look at some of the common options that's available across all the vouchers. First is voucher numbering method. Okay, this is very, very critical. Okay, in most of the businesses. Okay, this feature is very, very helpful for most of the businesses. So how does the voucher numbering should behave is what it will ask for. So you have multiple options to define an voucher numbering. It is automatic, which is default set to automatic. And even under automatic, you could have advanced configurations. Then you could also say while the number becomes automatic, but I want to have a manual override for it. Where if I require, I want to change. That is manual override. Then manual, okay, while you will say no, I don't want automatic numbering, I will key in manually whenever I make a data entry. That also you could specify. Then if you are using Tally in a multi-user environment, you could also configure with multi-user auto with advanced configuration. Or you could also specify, I don't at all need any voucher numbering. So don't even ask for voucher numbering where it is none. Okay. So we will see all these behaviors, how the voucher number affects. Okay. As I told you, the default voucher number, when you configure a voucher, say example, I will just click on payment. Okay, so it is showing voucher number as 2. And for the payment, default all the voucher numbers are being set to automatic. Okay, if you want, you could go and change. Okay, so now example, let me just explain you. When you say automatic, okay, so I'll just show you over here. So we just created some of the voucher types, right? We created HDFC, payments HDFC. So here, what is the voucher numbering method that you could configure? So as we saw in the presentation, all these options are available: automatic with manual override, manual, multi-user auto, and none. So default it is set to automatic. So what happens when you set to automatic? Okay, so example, let us just take. So there are some of the transaction. Okay, so there are 7 purchase transaction here. We have done in the month of April. Okay, so this is some sample transactions that we had done earlier. Okay, so when we set to automatic by default, so now there are 7 transactions and my last date of purchase transaction is on 30th of April. Okay, and the voucher number is 7. Now, what I'll do is I will create one more voucher on 30th April itself or 1st of May. Say example, I'll just change the date to 1st of May and I'm creating one more purchase entry. Okay, so purchase I'm doing from Just Connect. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, I don't think Just Connect was my custom. What was my supplier? Okay, Ganesh Tech. I'm not sure. Okay, let me just take Ganesh Tech. Okay, what am I purchasing? Annapurna Atta. One number, 45 rupees. Okay, purchase. I've taken this. Okay, so this also has GST. Input CGST. One second. Ganesh. Okay, he's United States. No, I don't need. Let me just say Global in Karnataka. Okay, so with him I'm purchasing. Okay, input is GST. Now, if you look at the voucher number is set to 8 because 7 was already there on 30th of April. Post 30th of April, I'm doing a transaction. It has taken it as 8. Right? So I've just saved this transaction. Now, if I just go to statistics, purchase entry, 8 transactions are there, 7 in April and 1 transaction in 1st of May. Now, example, I'm going and inserting one purchase transaction on 4th of April. Okay, let us see what is going to happen when I insert. If you look at here, 30th April is voucher number 7 and 1st May is voucher number 8. 3rd April is voucher number 6. Now I'm inserting a voucher on 4th of April. So I'm just changing the date to 4th of April. Okay. Look, the voucher number became 7. Okay, so I'm just doing a purchase entry, coconut oil, 10 liter I'm purchasing. Input CGST, input SGST. Right? So this number became 7. Why it became 7? Because till 3rd of April, the number of vouchers were 6. And on 30th April, the voucher number was 7. Now, since you are inserting in between and the voucher number is set to automatic, so it is automatically adjusting the numbers. Okay, so hope you are clear. If I just go to now state statistics and click on purchases, now I have 9 transactions. See here, what I inserted became 7. The 7 which was there on 30th April became 8. And on 1st May, which was 8, became 9. So automatically these numbers are getting reset. Okay, so this is the behavior of auto. Now, what is going to happen is, this is fine with my purchase or with my payment receipts and all, not a matter. But in sales, if you are inserting in between, then you will have a problem because you would have already given one sale invoice with some specific numbering to your customer. And now if you are inserting, after that date, all other numbers will get reset. Okay. So how do you avoid that? How could you avoid inserting of the transaction and it should not reset? Say like example, now it is 7. Since you have set as automatic, it is not even allowing you to go and change the voucher number. It doesn't go to that voucher number field itself. Okay. So that's the issue. Okay, so if you want to overcome this, what you can do is you can go and reset the voucher number. If you just click on Control Enter here, it will just open the voucher alteration screen. Here, you could set it to automatic, but do a manual override. What it does when you set to automatic manual override is, while it will automatically give you a number, if you want, you could override that. In the sense, you could change if required, is what it is telling. Okay. So now example, I'll just change this to automatic manual override. If I change this to automatic manual override, then it will ask you, so it's giving you a message saying, changing this method of voucher numbering will affect the voucher numbers of the existing transactions. Are you okay with it? So I'm okay with it. I'll just say yes. Now I have an option, okay, which says use advanced features. Okay, we'll come to that. Now I've changed this to be automatic, but allow me to manually change if required. Now I'm just going to purchase, okay, and I'm just changing the date to 2nd of May. See, look what happened when I go to, when I done it as automatic with manual override. Now while it has taken voucher number 1, it is allowing you to change the number if you want. So now example, I could make this as 10 and continue with it. Now I could continue to make a transaction. Okay, purchase, input. So I made the transaction for 10. Now it has automatically become 11, but it is allowing you to change if you want. So I could make it 13 also if required. So this is the behavior of automatic with manual override. So it typically what it does is, while the number gets auto generated, you can manually change it if required, is what this automatic manual override refers to. Is this clear? Okay. Then the third option is manual, meaning the system will not generate any number. You have to generate it manually. Okay, say example, I'll take a different voucher type. We just created some HDFC payment, right? Okay, so HDFC payment, but since there are no transactions, it's easier for me to show it to you. Okay, I could say manual. Now, once when you set to manual, you have an option for, do you want to prevent duplicates? Since you are giving it manually, what should be the behavior if you use the same voucher number? Should it allow or not? So if you say prevent duplicates as yes, it will not allow you to have the same voucher numbering again. Okay, so example, let us do this. Let us just say manual and let me say prevent duplicates. Okay, now example, if I go to HDFC payment, okay, so I'll just say 1, this is the first voucher number. Okay, so I'll just say HDFC bank. I'm just creating, since I didn't have this HDFC bank account. Okay, payment to Globusing against invoice number 8. Example, I'm just saying paid through check. So I've just saved this transaction, right? Now, since it is manual, it has taken 1 and it is asking you to change. Okay. Now what I'll do is, again, I'm just changing the date and give the same number. Now it says, it gives you an error saying duplicate voucher number, because in the voucher numbering screen configuration, we have set it to prevent duplicates as yes. So it will prevent duplicate voucher numbering to be used. If you make that as no, then it will not check that, it will just allow you to do the transaction. Say example. Okay, now see here, it is not even allowing you to change this because transaction already exists. So if the transactions are already there, prevent duplicate, you cannot disable if you have already configured. Okay, so let's go to this voucher type, payment SBI. Now I'll just make this as manual and say prevent duplicate as no. I'll continue with this. Now, when I go to payment and use SBI, I'll say number one, okay, State Bank of India, Globus Inc. I'm paying towards 7,000 rupees. Okay, so I've just saved. Now again, if I want to use one, it will still allow me to continue to do the transaction. See here, I'm just doing this second transaction with the same voucher numbering. Now, if I look at the transaction, SBI, I have two transactions, but both have the same voucher number because in the voucher configuration, I have set as no, prevent duplicates as no. So the system is not checking whether that voucher number exists or not. Okay. So in various business scenarios, based on the client requirement, you could set to yes or no based on the business behavior. Hope this is clear. Okay. Now I will show you one more configuration when you are in automatic. So example, I've just created sales Bangalore BLR, right? Now, while I'm using this automatic in my current business, I'm doing sales from Bangalore, Chennai, and Mumbai. Okay, now what happens is each of the voucher type, it will have the same series of number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that. So you will not be able to identify which is Bangalore, which is Chennai, which is Mumbai just by looking at the voucher number. But what I require is I need a numbering which will say BLR. If Bangalore voucher is generated, it should say BLR. If Chennai voucher generated, it should say CHN along with the number. And if Mumbai voucher is generated, it should say MUM. Okay, so I need to have those configurations. So in that case, I could just go back, control enter on the voucher type. While it is automatic, there is something called use advanced configuration. You could use this advanced configuration and say voucher number starts from what? Currently it is default starting from 1. Do you want to start from 1001? You could do that also. Numerical width part. So should it be how many characters? 3, 4, 5. Minimum here we have taken as 4, 1001. Or example, let us start with 1. Okay. Width of numbering part. Say example, I am saying I need 4 number. Prefix with 0. Yes. Example I am just giving. Now restart of this number. So I want to restart every year. Example from 1. Okay. Then I want to have a prefix. Since this is Bangalore, I want to have a prefix as BLR slash, sorry, from 1st of April, BLR slash is the prefix I need. Then I want number and I also want suffix as the year if you want, or let us see this at the later stage. Okay, so suffix I'm just leaving it blank. Now I'm saving this voucher type. Okay, now when I want to create a voucher and go to sales and say BLR sales Bangalore. See, look here, the voucher number, it is automatic. And we had specified the number of characters as 4 for the voucher with prefix as BLR. So it is saying BLR slash 0001 as the voucher number. Next, it will become BLR slash 0002. Say example, let me just do this transaction. Okay, so I'm just doing a cash transaction for Annapurna Atta, 1 kg at 60 rupees. This is going to sales. Okay, output CGST, output SGST. Okay, so now I've saved this. Now, see, look, second transaction has become BLR 002. So it will have BLR for Bangalore. Okay, similarly, you could set up for Chennai. Okay, what is that you want? Okay, you could go to advanced configuration, make this as yes. Okay, so you could say this will also have 4. Okay, now if you are looking from 1st April, okay, yearly from 1st April, CHN for Chennai. Okay, similarly, if it is Mumbai, you could specify it as go to advanced configuration. Okay, and specify as MUM for Mumbai. Okay, now if you are looking at voucher type, see, look here. If you are selecting a Bangalore voucher, it says BLR. If you change it to Mumbai Chennai voucher, it will say CHN. Okay, if you change it to Mumbai, it will say MUM. And if you want to have prefix, you could enable so that prefix will come. Otherwise, it is showing blank because I not have enabled the prefix. Sorry, number of characters. I'm sorry, it's not prefix, number of characters for the numbering. Okay. Now, what I also need is apart from this, see now, one data I have more than one financial year. So I might have 3 years data in one single box. Now, for the current financial year, I require with the financial year as suffix. That also I could set up. Say like example, if I go to the sales of BLR, I'm saying yes, I require this. Okay, but I also want to know which year. So for 1st April 2021, just say 20-21. Then from 1st April 22, okay, specify it as /21-22. Say example, I'm just giving you this. Similarly, for 1st April 23, it has to reset with 22-23. Okay, now I have given this configuration. Now when I go to BLR voucher, which I've already created, look here, what is the voucher numbering? BLR slash 0001 slash 2021. Okay, now this BLR and 2021 will continue for the whole financial year. Next financial year, it will automatically become 21-22 with reset of numbering. So like example, I'll just show it to you. Okay, now if I want to, if I want to move the financial year, to 24, I'll just say till 24. Okay, now I want to do a sales transaction and I want to change the date to 1st April 22. 1st April 22. Look here, the voucher number has become BLR slash 001 slash 2122. Okay, or if I just say 1st April 23, it has become 22, 23 or 23, whatever that you would have specified. Okay, so this voucher numbering based on the need, you could have this advanced configuration and you could set up. And I've seen a lot of organization, say like example in payment and receipts, they will have a month-wise or reset of numbering. That also you could do. Example, I'll just show it to you. Let me just go to payment. HDFC payment. Okay, so I want it automatic. Okay, I want to use advanced configuration. Let it start from 1. Let it have 3 this thing and let it have 0 as prefix. From 1st April, here restart numbering. I'll not say yearly, I'll say monthly. Every month you reset the number. Do not wait till the financial year end. Okay, then I could prefix what for 1st April 21, prefix with APR. For 1st May 21, prefix with MAY. For 1st June, prefix with JUL. For 1st July, example, you could say JUL. 1st August, AUG. 1st September, SCP. 1st October, OCT. 1st November, NOV. Similarly, you could go on adding. Okay, then you could also have suffix. Now the suffix, what I want is I want this yearly. I don't want this monthly. While the restart numbering has to happen monthly, but the prefix, the suffix, I want it on yearly basis. So I'll just say /21, 22. From 1st April 22, it is /22, 23. From 1st April 23, I wanted /23, 24. Example, I'm just specifying this. Now let us see how the behavior works in the voucher numbering. So here what we have said, we are told the restart should happen on a monthly basis, and maximum you need to have these 3 characters, and every month the number is resetting. So every month it has the prefix of the month code and suffix of the financial year is what we have specified. Okay, so this is for HDFC payment. I already have one transaction. Look at this. Since I'm in May, it says the voucher number as May 001/21/22. Okay, I'd given /21/22, or I'd specified. Let me just say one second. This was a typo error. This is 21/22. Okay, so now you look at the same. Since it is in May, it has taken May 001/21/22. Okay, so example, May, I will have one more transaction. Okay, so I'm just going for May. I'm saying 2nd of May. Okay, for 23 does become 2nd May 21. See here, May 002/21/22. Okay, now I'll just say HDFC. Then I'll select Anand Agencies, example on account 1 rupee. Okay, this is the sample entry that I'm doing. Now it has become 3. May 003/21/22. HDFC. Anand Agencies. Okay, now it has become 4. Now I'll change this date to 1st of June. 1st of June. Now look at the voucher numbering. It has started with again with 001. June 001/21/22. So this is highly configurable. Based on your need, you can say when it has to reset. So the reset option is available on, say example, the reset option is available for you either on yearly basis, monthly basis, weekly basis, daily basis, or you could even specify it as never reset, continue with any numbering. Periodicity, you could specify daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, or never for restart of numbering. Hope this is clear. How to use the advanced configuration in voucher numbering. Any questions on this? Because this might be required for most of the businesses. Okay, hope you have all understood this. If there are any questions, okay, I'll just give you 30 seconds time. Okay, you could either unmute and speak or put on chat.
Sir, Narendra here. Sir, if you take this advanced thing, that numbering, and when we take a report, for example, sales report, or a purchase report, the supplier's invoice number is not coming in the report.
Supplier invoice number is different from your voucher number.
Yes, sir. So how do we get that also in the report, sir?
So here, say example, I'm just going to purchase register, display account book purchase register.
Yes.
This is my purchase register, and
Yes,
this
sir.
is my voucher numbering. Since I've made it
Yes.
as manual and I've given only one single number,
Yes.
everything has taken 11.
Yeah.
This is my voucher numbering versus this is the supplier invoice number 001.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so
suppose
you want to get that supplier invoice number also.
yes.
Click on column none.
Okay.
Then which column you require? Address do you need? I don't need address. I need voucher type. Yes. I need voucher numbering. Yes. You need supplier invoice number. Yes. Invoice date. Yes. Supplier name. Yes. Supplier GST number. Yes. Tax. No. There's no. PAN. Voucher narration not required. Order details not required. Receipt details. Import details. Bill of entry. Quantity. No. Item. Yes. See, look here. This is your voucher number. This is supplier invoice.
Sir. But this can we send it to the suppliers, because normally they'll be asking for ledger balance and etc. So when we take a printout, not printout, like report as a purchase report, then this supplier invoice will not be showing. Only the voucher numbers will be showing. That is where the problem I am facing. Or if you go to any ledger, any supplier ledger, and take a balance.
One second, just hold on. Yeah, so this is the supplier ledger.
This is what we get, sir.
Right. So what do you want here?
Here in this that supplier's purchase bill number, we should display, but when we try to export, it is coming like that only.
The reason why you don't get the supplier bill number as a column is because this ledger might have different type of transaction. It is not just only purchase. You will also have payment.
Yeah.
You will also might have journal entry.
Okay, sir.
You might also have a debit note. You might also have a credit note. Okay, so it is not just only one this thing, because you will have invoices only in your purchase transaction.
Yes, sir.
So like example you take here.
Yeah.
So there are payments. This payments will not have any purchase invoice number, right?
Yes, yes, I agree, sir.
So that is the reason it's not available.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we will not be able to get that detail also unless until we give a like bill wise or something like that. So it shows as a separate column or a row.
Right. So if you get into bill wise, so this is the bill.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, but if you need it as a separate column here, okay, then that's not available in default. You need to get that customized.
Oh, okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Fine, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any other questions, or could we move forward? Okay. So let us move forward and look at what other options that we have in voucher numbering. So like example, let me just take payment SBI. Okay. The next is multi-user auto, where in a multi-user environment where multiple people are using, okay, everyone gets a pop of some numbering. Okay, so that also they could set it as multi-user auto. So based on the saving of the transaction, the number will get auto set. So this I can't demonstrate to you because I'm not currently on the multi-user environment. I'm on a single user environment. So you might not be able to see it live. Okay. Then you have none. Means I don't want any voucher numbering. Okay. So just default, don't even show that numbering. I don't require this. For example, I'll just specify it as none. It says all vouchers will be, existing voucher numbers will get erased. Are you okay with it? I'm just saying okay, and I'll just save. So now if I get into SBI payment voucher type, so I don't even get the voucher numbering over here because I set as none. Okay, now based on the need, you could set up your voucher type numbering. Okay, and this I think covers most of the business scenarios. Based on the need, you could set it up. Okay. Next, on the common options that you have is use effective dates in voucher. Okay, say example, let us just go to the payment entry, payment voucher. Okay, so I'll just say payment. After voucher numbering, you have use effective dates for vouchers. What is this effective dates for vouchers? For example, first let us look at the payment voucher. So where does it affect? Now, what is the date it is showing? It is showing us 1st of June. Okay, so example, I'll just say skip date during one second, software invoice. Skip date during voucher field, yes. Okay, so okay, one more thing, let me just make the changes to this. Alter voucher type, payment SBI. I'm just changing it to automatic. Yes. Okay. Now, if you go to payment SBI, it has taken 3. Okay. Now the date, if you click on date, what is the date it is showing? Voucher date it is showing. Say example, let me just take, I'm making payment for Glovis. Okay, so who are my suppliers? Let me just take my suppliers account. And let us see how much of balance is there. Okay, so like example. Okay, so let us take this purchases. Okay, so now purchase, for a purchase entry. Okay, let me take Glovis itself as the client. Okay, fine. So I'll just go to the voucher type, purchase voucher type, and here I will specify use effective dates for vouchers. I will make this as yes. Okay, now when I go and want to make a purchase entry, click on purchase. See, on the right hand side, you are seeing 2 dates. One, transaction date. The second is effective date. And once when you click on date, now it has started showing 2 different dates. What is this effective date? This effective date will start taking for your outstanding days calculation. While the voucher date is 2nd of April, I want to, for transaction, I want to take, say example, 1st of June. While the voucher date is 2nd of June, I want to take this for 1st of June. Why I want to take 1st of June? though I'm raising a purchase entry on 2nd of June, actually I have supplied the material on 1st of June. So the credit days will start ticking from the day I have supplied, not on the day I have purchased, I have billed the customer, I have billed the supplier. Okay. So in that case, especially in your sales and purchases, this will be very, very helpful. Okay. So example, I'm saying the effective date is on 1st of June, while the transaction date, I'm accounting it on 2nd of June, but the material was supplied on 1st of June only. Example, Globus. Okay. So which is the item? Okay, cigar 10 pack 1500. Output CGST, sorry. Input CGST. Input SGST. Input cess is also available. Okay, 3240. I'm saying 10 days of credit. See here on the top, due days or credit days with effect from 1st of June, not from 2nd of June. Though I'm doing a transaction on 2nd of June, since the effective date is on 1st of June, all my outstanding calculations will happen on from the effective date. So in most of the businesses, it happens. See, there is my regular customer. He will just give a phone call and say, hey, Mahesh, supply this, Mahesh, supply 10 bottles of water, or he will say, supply this material. I'm just blindly supplying. But at the end of the month, I'll go on accounting. I'll give the invoice only at the end of the month. Now, the issue is when you are entering in Tally and in the end of the month on 30th June, when you are entering it, if you say 10 days of credit, from what date it has to start? Should it start from 30th June and it should take 10 days of credit, or it should take from the day you have supplied? Okay, most of the time the credit are given from the date you have supplied. So in those cases, if you want to have an effective date, it will help you to manage your outstandings. That is where you will get an advantage of effective dates. Is this clear? Okay. Then comes allow zero valued transactions. Now let us get into sales voucher type. Most of the time you will have zero values in purchase and sales. So like example, I'll just say sales. Allow zero value transaction, it is set to yes. Means what? I'm doing a transaction, but it doesn't have any value. So in which scenarios you will get these things? During the purchase, okay, you might get free items based on as an incentive based on the sales that you have made. Say example, my distributor has told me, Mahesh, this month if you sell 10 Sony TV, I will give you one TV extra. Okay, but the condition is during the month of June, you should sell 10 Sony TVs. Okay, so on 1st of July, if I have achieved that, he will give me one Sony TV, but it will not have any value, but it will come to my stock. So if I want to account that, then I need to have allow zero valued transaction in the entry. Say like example in purchase. Okay, this is, it is disabled. Okay, so now since it is disabled, let us see what will be the scenario. Now let me take an example. I have achieved my target and sold 10 Sony TVs. Now my distributor is giving me one Sony TV free. So I need to account it as my purchase. While I take it as my purchase on 1st of July. Okay, so invoice number he has given. My supplier has given this. Okay, Sony TV. Let me just say Sony TV pieces. GST is yes. Okay, taxable at 28%. Okay, now I have received one quantity, but there is no rate. It has zero value. Okay, so there is no tax also. Okay, now if I try to save, it says error, no entries in voucher. So it's not allowing me to save this transaction. Now, if I want to have a zero value transaction in my purchase or sales or in any voucher type, I can go and set this to allow zero value transaction. Allow this. Now make the same transaction. Globus, Sony TV 1, which doesn't have any value. Save. It has saved. Now one item has come as inward, but it has no value. Right? So in your business, if you are doing that, okay, generally schemes will be available. Okay, you lift 100 numbers, you will get 5 numbers free. Okay, so seasonal sale. Okay, you also do the sale similarly. You buy 5 pants, you will get 2 shirts free. Shirt will not have any value, but the quantity has to reduce based on the sales. In all those types, if you have allow zero value transaction during the entry, the system will accept and continue with the transaction. Otherwise, you will not be able to do the transaction. Hope this is clear. Then set optional as default. So what is optional entry? Optional entry relates to a transaction which you account but which you enter in your system, but it will not affect your books of accounts. So like example, I'm making one purchase transaction, but it will not affect my books of accounts. So example, I'll just show it to you. Okay, so I'm doing a purchase transaction on 1st of July. Okay, from Globus. Voucher number is 13. Okay, Sony TV, 100 numbers I have bought at 12,500 rupees, 12,50,000. Okay, on this I have input tax. Okay, now before saving, simple thing what I'm doing is I'm just clicking on this optional, status as optional, and save this. Now, while the transaction is available and it is showing as optional, 16 lakh rupee on 1st of July, it has not affected my books of accounts. Still, my Sony TV is only one number. Okay, or when I go to Globus ledger, display accounts book ledger, Globus supplier, see, this purchase entry is not visible over here, means it is not affecting your books of accounts. Okay, now I'll go back to the same transaction and make it regular and save this. So it has become regular. It has removed that optional. Now I'll go to stock summary. Now my Sony has become 101. Okay, so the option that you could set up at the voucher type is basically, do you want to set this default as optional? Means if you set this as yes, and when you make a transaction, default it will take as optional. Where will this be helpful? Where will this optional transaction be helpful? Is in most of the organization, if they have approval system. Example, I'm an accountant, I do a sales transaction, but my boss will look at all these things and he will approve it, saying, okay, go ahead. In those cases, you will require this optional, and you could set here optional by default. So if you set this as optional by default, anybody who tries to do the transaction, it will default go to option, so that it doesn't get accounted. Somebody can look at it, my boss can look at it, If he finds that all the transactions are correct, then he could regularize it by clicking on current. Okay. For example, I'm just enabling this for purchase. Make this optional as default. Now you look at this. So default, it has become optional. Status is set to optional by default. Okay, so now I'm making a transaction. Glovis, Sony TV, Pi number, input CGST, input SGST, example, okay, 80,000, and saved. Now default, it has not accounted while the transaction is available, but it has taken as default as optional. Now what happens is, I'm the data entry operator, I've just done this transaction, I've gone home. Now my boss comes and logs in. He will check what are all the transactions that are being entered for the day, and he will look at this and say, okay, they have billed at 12,500, but the supplier had told me he will sell me at 12,250. So I need to make some changes. So I'll just go here and make this change to whatever the changes that I want to do. Accordingly, my taxes, everything has got changed. Now, before saving it, I will make this click on regular over here and save. Now it has got accounted and it's available in my all reports has got updated accordingly. Right? Hope this is clear. Okay, so let us move to the next one. Narration. So in narration, how many of you know there are two kinds of narration in voucher? One is the common narration, and second, you could set narration for each ledger entry that you are making. Okay, so example, I'll show it to you. Default, when you look at a voucher entry in Tally, say example purchase. Okay, or let me just take the best example is journal entry. So in the bottom you have narration over here, debit Anand. Okay, so credit example I'm just saying. I'll not save this transaction. See here you get a narration. First thing is, if you don't need this narration at the transaction level, you could go to voucher type, alteration, go to the specific voucher type and say allow narration, make this as no. Now you make a transaction, there is no narration field that is available on your system. Okay, so this is the first option. The second option on the narration is, I need narration for each debit and each credit, not only the common narration. Then you could go and set up specifying I need default narration and provide narration for each ledger in the voucher. Now I'll go and make a transaction. Say example, I'm making a journal entry, debit. Is there any expenses? Sorry. Example, I'll just say this. Electricity expenses from central indirect. GST is not applicable. 1,500 rupees. See here, it is asking for narration. Okay, say example, I could say I could give a narration over here. April 2021 bill, credit, discount. They are my suppliers and creditors. Bill number, okay, 05, 2 days, 1,500. Now again, I can give narration. So for every ledger that you select during a transaction, if you want a separate narrations to be given, you could enable provide narration for each ledger Okay. To be paid with whatever the narration you want. Being accounted for April 2020. So you could have a common narration. You could have narration at each ledger level that you are using. So if you want to both, you could enable both. If you want only one, you could enable only one. That option is available in your voucher creation or alteration, where you could specify, do you need narration? Hope this is clear. Okay. Next, default accounting allocation. Okay, is where you could set up default accounting allocation, meaning when I'm making a transaction, default to which it has to get accounted. Say, especially this will be very helpful during your sales and purchases. Okay, say example, I'll just show it to you. Say sales BLR. Let me take sales BLR. It's a Bangalore, since it's a Bangalore sale. Okay, default, I'll say default enable this accounting allocation. Set alter accounting allocation. It has to go to example local sales, sales local, because it's Bangalore sales. Okay, I'm selling only to the local customers here. Okay, sorry, local sales. It's not a it's a sale. Okay, so GST I am not configuring at this stage. Okay. Now, addition to the sale, what are all the other ledgers that you need? So, like example, I need transportation charges. Direct income. Okay, so GST is applicable. Okay, yes, I will say. Say example, it is taxable at 5%. It's a service. Okay, so this is how are you charging the GST? Sorry, transportation. So I'll just say this is user-based value and remove if it is 0. Transportation is 1. Then you might have insurance, you might have any other loading, unloading charges, whatever the charges that you could have, you could additionally keep. Okay, then I'll say output CGST, output SGST, round off ledger as total amount rounding to the nearest 1 rupee. So I've set this as default accounting allocation. Now when I go to the voucher entry, okay, click on sales Bangalore. Look here. Default, the transportation charges, GST, everything is auto-populated. I need not go and key in every time. So now what I could do is, I could just go to the customer. Say example, I'll just say create a new customer. Skanda agencies. Okay, sundry debtors. Okay, so I have them. Okay, they are regular vendors. 29. I don't have that number. I'll just give this currently. Okay. Now what am I selling? I'm selling Annapurna Atta, 100 kgs. Now when I click on enter, see default it has taken to local sales. Okay. Then coconut oil, 50 liters. It has automatically calculated the GST and everything. 1200. Then ITC King. Okay, I should have the cess also. I should have included the cess. I've not included, so I'll not take ITC King. I'll just say Gillette shaving cream. 10 numbers, 220 rupees, 2200. So my tax is automatically calculated. Now, how much is the transportation charges? So I'm charging 200 rupees as transportation charges. I could update that also. Accordingly, my GST has also got calculated. Or let me just say 212 rupees 28 paisa. Now look at here, your round off is also been automatically adjusted. So now it has become 212.28. On that you have an output IG, output CGST, output SGST, and round off is 10 paisa. So it has rounded off to 10 paisa to the nearest rupee. Okay, and I am saving this transaction. So what happens is every time you need not go and select what is the output CGST, what is SGST, how much is the transportation, transportation, all those things. You can just go on doing the data entry, which will ease your entry time, and it will be much more accurate because users might not select the right ledgers. Hope this is clear. Okay, so next let us look at print on save. So now we are doing all these transactions, right? So we did some sales transaction, some purchase transaction. Okay, at the end, what I want is when I save this, it should automatically ask me to print. Why it is not asking? Why should I again go and click on Control P and do the print? I don't want that. Every time I do a sales invoice, it should automatically ask me to print, and I want to print this. So how do you set that? You could go to again the voucher type. Okay, whichever the voucher type that you want to. Okay, and set print voucher after saving. Enable this. Once I enable, okay, so I have done a transaction here. For example, I'm just altering. It's as good as saving the transaction. When I save this, yes, it will automatically open your printer screen, and it's asking you, do you want to print? And the cursor has gone to preview. Click on preview, so it will automatically show you the print. If you want to, if you have the printer attached, click on print, it will automatically print. So it will save a lot of time basically. Yes, hope this is clear. I think it's 8:15 now. Okay, we will close at this. Okay, tomorrow we will take up in the next session. Okay, on Monday we will take up the voucher class, because voucher class requires a lot more detailing. We need to take some scenarios and explain to you. Okay, and different concepts of the voucher class, different options in the voucher class. Then how do you do a POS invoicing? Point of sale invoicing. If anyone is into retail point of sale of invoice, that how do you do that? The titling, bank options to print your bank details on the invoice. How do you enable jurisdictions, declarations, various things that we will look at. Okay, so we will close at this currently. We will take that voucher class in the next session. Are there any questions? Time for Q&A. Are there any questions? This is the right time you could ask. Is this clear? Okay, and I request none of you are giving any feedbacks. Hardly I get any feedbacks. Okay, I request, since you are getting into the weekend, okay, every one of you, please share your experience. Okay, either you could record the video or record the audio and share the experience. So about us, we are a 5-star certified sales and implementation partners. We sell Tally software. We do the Tally software renewals. We do customizations. We do custom specific trainings. We give support services. We do implementations on Tally. We have more than 400 customers with us. We are continuously supporting. Okay, if you have any requirements on Tally, you could always contact us. These are contact details. Okay, so I'm there on the call for next 3-4 minutes. If anyone has any questions, this is the good time to ask for. Okay, please feel free to pose your questions. Okay, we'll be happy to answer. Else, if you do not have any questions, you could log off. Again, we will meet on Monday and continue with this session. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Sir, Narendra here.
Yeah, Narendra, please tell me.
Sir, I had asked you regarding that, can we manage that inventory? I hope if you remember.
Yes, yes.
Sorry, I couldn't send you that invoice. So today I'll be sending that invoice, and because
Sure, sir.
directly invoice, we'll do it in Excel sheet.
Okay.
We get a packing slip, sir. Based on that, we'll raise the invoice, sir.
Okay. Packing sheets are not available on standard tally.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Packing
So
sheets
just wanted to, I'll
yeah,
share it
packing
to you,
sheets
sir.
are not available on standard tally. We need to customize that. Okay, but if you can share your invoice, then only I'll be able to comment whether it's possible or not.
Sure, sir.
Okay.
Sir, and one more thing, sir, that purchase thing, no? I am actually, I'll be interacting with my suppliers very regularly. Once in a month, we take a ledger balance confirmation.
Okay.
That suppliers invoices, no? It is difficult to, take a printout with the reference numbers of the supplier invoices. What normally we get the voucher numbers is that is apart from that. We are getting only, we are not getting the supplier invoice details. This is like that, sir. The voucher number we'll get.
So first click on bill wise details.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
No.
So this is.
No, but here we'll get the bill wise details, sir. But the supplier is asking for both payment and as well as purchase. What is the balance, exact balance, sir?
Okay. Okay.
That is where I'm, getting a little bit.
1 second. So let us look at it. So all the details, narration details. Okay. So you get like this.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So here you are getting for the purchase how much of payment you have done.
Okay.
So when you go to detail,
sir.
When you go to the format of detail,
yes, sir.
Okay, and you could say if you want to show the inventory also, you could enable show the inventory. Okay, order details. Okay, narration. You could enable all these things. So it will automatically show you the purchase, which are all the items that has got purchased. Against this purchase, is there any debit note or is there any payments?
Okay, sir.
For example, there is a purchase.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 250 liters of oil. Sorry, 250 per liter you have purchased.
Yes, sir.
2010 liters of oil. Total value is 2,800. Against that, you have made a payment on 3rd of May. On 4th of April, you have purchased. On 3rd of May, you have made a payment.
Okay, sir.
So this breakup will be available. Okay, this is one way of looking at it. Okay. See, now what you could also do is, okay, you could just go directly to print.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and click on others. So what do you want to print?
Yeah, that ledger.
Ledger outstanding.
140 ledger. Yeah, outstanding, sir.
One is outstanding, all ledger outstanding. Or you could also print the ledger confirmation.
Okay, sir.
Ledger outstanding, all ledger outstanding payables. Ledger outstanding for, say, example, this. Okay. So number of copies, configure. So here, period, outstanding, age-wise, default show opening, from date of the bill, detailed report. Okay, this we saw. Group name, if you want group name, you could say bill-wise detail. Select which bill you want. All bills, credit bill, debit bills. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Include post-dated voucher if you require. Okay, range, party address, contact details. Okay, this print.
Sir, I think in the type of bills, you'll get that ledger confirmation.
Huh?
The type of bills.
All bills, overdue bills. Okay, you could specify all bills here. Okay. Now you click on preview.
Okay, sir. Okay, I think we'll get everything here.
Yeah.
Fine, sir.
Only thing is you may not. Okay, so here you have the reference number also. Reference number is your supplier bill number, supplier invoice number.
Yes, sir.
Reference number is the supplier invoice number. You get everything.
Yes, sir.
If you want the detailed one, you could take like this.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Are there any other questions, participants? Okay. So there are no questions. I'm closing for the day. Thanks, everyone. Okay. Again, let's connect on Monday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.